The first video started getting a little bit longer, so I wanted to go ahead and do a separate part 2 video for this, just so anybody that didn't want to see the 3X comparison didn't really have to, but I did want to get it in. I just didn't want the time to be too much. So here we are, back for a part 2, and just really want to show these two side by side, and I think I'm going to need a little more time with it. So here we go as far as that goes. First thing we're going to see is I'm lined up here in the back. There's your wheelbase difference. Now this big rock represents a granite also. Biggest part of the granite is the tires are a little thicker and beefier than what these are, whereas right now these ones are, big rock ones are taller for sure, and just not as thick. So the granite ones would be a little bit taller than these and a little bit thicker, or at least the same thickness. The Arrmas have the 14mm hex, and it is an aluminum, whereas this is plastic. They are using the plastic CVAs also, but at least they are a little thicker. Not necessarily saying that this couldn't be a more plastic on the mold, but this one is at least a little thicker. Now, I've seen lots of issues with these. I haven't ran into the problem myself with it because I bailed out on the truck before I got there, just because I knew I wanted to go 4S, and I was seeing that it wasn't going to handle it. So I was going to try my hand with the Outcast 4S one instead, since it was going to be a little bit more fine-tuned for the 4S. And I was very disappointed that that had plastic shafts too, but again, I gave up. I should have tried that one, but I didn't. I just thought it would be more the same. Everything else was very similar to this. Arrma, first thing, clip retainers are, nice touch. None here, but same factory did wind up putting these on the Kaiju, so yeah, it just must have been a production difference. Body's definitely, I'd say 3 times better as far as thickness goes and just styling. I love the big rock body. Alright, so towers, not, I've seen these break. Now, again, I've had experience with this truck, and I've also seen a bunch with it, so it's not fair that I'm going to compare some things that break on this without knowing if they're an issue on this truck. But I'm just letting you know where I see the weak spot being, and this, we've all seen this split or broke right at the shock tower. That's something that's unavoidable. I'm sure there'll be an aluminum upgrade hopefully for it in the future. But this one, the way they contour it, and it's got the different grooves, not saying it couldn't happen, but there's definitely a little bit more to it. Body posts, very stiff. Didn't have any problems with them when I was bashing with mine. These are flexible. Like I said, they might give you a little bit more cushion. LEDs, no LEDs. Again, even the granite bumper. I do like the granite bumper better as far as durability goes, and just giving you some kind of cushioning. But as far as the big rock look, this sells the big rock look, and I'm fine with it. But I went ahead and put a little T-bone on mine when I had it, just because I wanted to protect that front bumper, because it take a nosedive and there's nothing there. You're right up against the tower. So I do like, you do got a little bit of room here if you do take a hard smash for this to go before it actually starts trying to damage anything or breaking plastic. Center drive line on this is also plastic. Not a fan of it. This is steel shaft in there. Servo is not my favorite. It's a plastic gear. What I wound up doing with mine is I took my Arrma 6S one out and put it in here, and I think that's what Arrma should be doing anyway, is just getting rid of this one, getting that one that's out of the 6S out of there, because it shouldn't be in the 6S's, and put them in their 3 and 4S ones, which are probably better suited. But they're putting cheaper ones in there to cut cost. I mean, it can't cut more than $4 or $5 off the cost of the vehicle to put that better servo in here. But it's what they're doing. I'm hoping, again, not knowing the specs of this one, but I'm pretty sure that this one's going to be a better servo. It's already the aluminum case. And I'm pretty sure it's a metal gear as well. I did read that somewhere. They just didn't tell you what kind or what power. The ESCs probably about the same, both 80 amps. Actually, is this a 100 amp? Sorry. The can is also longer on this, which is going to give you a little bit more torque. The KV is a 3200 on this one, so it's about the same power, but with a little bit more torque. It's a little bit bigger truck as well, so it's going to handle a little different. This is a lighter truck, and it's going to, that's not going to factor, that 100 kV is not going to factor that much, and the torque isn't going to be that big of a deal because this is a heavier truck. That's a nice molded chassis on the Arrma. Yeah, I do like the chassis. It's got the battery tray, same, single tray battery tray. Now this, I'm not positive on this one. I know the right cat's got a center diff back there, but I'm not sure if this one does. But this is a slipper. I'm not a fan of the slipper. They're a pain in the ass to mess with. It seems like every time I have a slipper truck, I'm replacing the pads or rebuilding it. So it's just, I like to have a center diff. I like putting the oils in it. I like that being my control. This whole slipper thing, man, I've never been a fan of it. But I'm sure it's got its benefits out there somewhere. It's just I seem to have some bad luck with it. Now, one downfall, definite. In comparison, I only have to drive it to find out. I broke my wheelie bar on the first day driving this truck, so I can already tell you that this setup is going to be a better setup than what this is. This is just, this piece right here is going to be what fails you, this plastic piece. This itself is nice and stout. It's just this plastic piece right here cannot handle too much flex, and I don't see that happening here. But time will tell. The shocks look to be, again, I'm not a huge fan of these shocks at all. I kept getting leaks in mine. Again, that could have been the bashing. I was sending it, so. But these shocks were not fan favorites of mine. I don't have any knowledge of how these are going to hold up or work. So size-wise, they seem to be about the same size in the front and rear. We're going to jury's out on if they're any better or worse. Turnbuckle links seem to be equally beefy. The hubs definitely seem like they got more plastic to them. The knuckles got the double. Can't get in there. It's got the double piece here with the turnbuckle in the middle. This one's just got the single here on this piece. So it's a little bit more durable, I would say, here as far as bashing goes. But not saying that it couldn't break and that would hold up better. Chassis layouts are very different. This is a nice flat chassis, but it's also not raised at all. So you get scrapes on this. It'll slap, especially if you're doing jumps on concrete. This is raised up a little bit, so this part of the chassis is probably a little bit more protected. But you're gonna tear this bump up right here. I can see that. Hopefully they make a little skid that goes over top of that, because I just see that getting chewed up. Yeah, when that truck bottoms out, that's gonna be chewed up. Oh, they got a little fake exhaust. I'd probably paint that up chrome, man. Take that off and spray it chrome. Nice little touch right there. That's just stupid, but it would still be pretty badass in chrome. It's exhaust tips. Price wise, we're talking about the Granite. We're talking about the same price wise, $300 each retail. This one's $330 or $329, $330. Just you're paying for the Big Rock name basically on this one. Maybe the different bumpers and things they put on are a little bit more finished. I just wish the Big Rock would have, gave that same Big Rock look for the tires, but they went with that same narrow tire that the Big Rock had too, which I didn't like that on the Big Rock, the large scale one, but they went ahead and copied that, and I get copying it because that was the point of this. But I just wish these were a little wider. But other than that, I mean, this is probably a better vehicle out the box than what this one's going to be, with the, you know, just visual appearance of it all. Yes, weaker wheelie bar. This has LEDs, but, you know, again, there's benefits to this truck. They both have the plastic shafts, so there's, you know, no cancellation there. The center steel shaft on this one is nice as well, but the electronics, you know, being reedy, are also probably better for some people, but also not as powerful as this one. So, you know, again, the jury's going to be out and left to everybody else, because I'm pretty much done with my Big Rock. You know, not that I think it's a bad truck, it wasn't for me. It wasn't where I wanted to go, as far as drivetrain and all goes. But that's saying that this one's going to be any better. I would probably run into the same issues with this one. So it really depends on what you're looking for, man. If you're looking for a smaller 1/10 in that price range with cool LEDs on it, and, you know, probably a better wheelie bar, and maybe even upgrade options to Kaiju parts, which will basically make it a little stronger, beefier, and put it in a different class, especially if you can put the arms and the shafts and things from the Kaiju on this. Might cost a good bit to do, but you'll find chassis breakdowns from people that do it all the time, where you can buy the full sets of arms and the shafts for a fraction and throw them on this if it works out. Now, that would be a pretty wide little, you know, short, stout truck, but it would definitely beef up the drivetrain a little bit on it. But, you know, maybe that's something I get bored with and try later. I'm not going to mess with that right now, but maybe we'll do a comparison, you know, with the caliper tool, and see if the arms are even the same size and width to fit into the same spots. But right now, guys, the Arrma, I'm not going to recommend the Rival over the Arrma. But if you guys do go out and drive this thing, and you guys do, you know, like it, and you have had the experience with them, drop me a comment, let me know, man, because I want to tell people, especially since I sell both of them, I want to be able to tell people, you know, what else is the difference of them, because I've driven this. I'm probably not going to drive this. There's just no point in me dirtying up a demo and going out and bashing with it when I'm not even that big into 1/10 stuff anymore, and I got so much on my plate. If I didn't have a lot on my plate, and I didn't have another 1/10 I got to do, which is the Mammoth from Team Corrali, I've committed to doing that, so now I got to get that one out there, and I just don't have time to do two of them. Maybe we'll adjust this again in, you know, another 3-4 months. Maybe I'll get back out and we'll start doing some comparisons with this truck. By then, I'm sure you'll see videos that are running everywhere, and I probably won't need to. Stay tuned for the Kaiju comparison to the Rival MT, so you can get a chance to see, you know, the scale differences between the two trucks. But other than that, we're done with this truck. We'll go ahead and get cleaned up and get ready for the next video.